And then let's go to the game.
Yes, Space Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we are. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Cantata.
Well, it's so great to be here. We have so much stuff to show people. Jillian says hello. Oh my God. I don't even know how you know who Jillian is, but that's great. Let's just keep these 14 viewers as part of our little secret club. Okay, cool. All right, so once again, we'll probably start the actual video cut here, so thank you all for bearing with us as we get started. But welcome to the Cantata Gamescom 2021 demo. We have been working tirelessly over the past few months, actually longer than a few months, to basically come to this point. It is now live on Steam, so anybody who's watching this now, provided you don't watch it a week or two from now, we're going to show you literally what is playable. So if you go to Steam right now, you can download the demo, play it along with us, whatever you want to do. That is available. It'll be live, I think, at least through Sunday. So it is a timed demo. It won't just be live forever. And our goal with that is to have people play it. We want people to tell us what they like and don't like. There are some feedback tools in the game we can show you guys. But generally just have fun. I think for the whole team, this really represents what Cantata is supposed to be and what it is and will be. Whereas before, I know some of you all did some of our smaller alphas. This is the thing. So if you want to play the game, it's now here. The demo itself is chapter 1 of 9. So the final game will have 9 chapters in it. The demo is basically 1 chapter of that. So you are playing effectively the first chapter of the campaign. It does also double as a tutorial, which you'll see here in a second. But yeah, download it, play it, wishlist us. If you like Cantata, wishlist us. That really does help. It boosts us in Steam's algorithm. So wishlist it, and that helps us for release, which is not announced yet, and is not tomorrow. There's still a secret tomorrow, but it is not the release date of this game. So yeah, our goal for this stream is to basically just answer questions for what people have. Otherwise, we'll kind of just be playing through the demo and talking about different aspects. I don't want to get too far into chapter 1 just because there is stuff that, it's not spoilers, but it's fun to discover things yourself. But we can talk about systems changes and sort of all this other stuff. So the idea is that it is a collaborative stream where we're sort of showing people what we're doing, but we're not trying to speed run chapter 1, though I could do it. So yeah, does anybody else on the team want to say anything before we get started?
I want to say Cantata's really fun. It's really fun. I've been playing it a lot. I'm definitely not biased, but it's really fun.
Hard not
really
to drink
fun.
The Kool-Aid.
You're in for a treat. Oh yeah. Also, tomorrow, good work from home day. Friday, good work from home day.
All good work from home days.
Weekend, also good days to be home.
All work from home. Yeah,
Don't work from home on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, but play Cantata on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Why not just play Cantata?
Yeah.
It's easy.
Just play Cantata. It's easy.
Yeah.
Download it. Yeah, no, it's fun. Everyone's been doing such a good job. The sounds are fantastic. Music, score. You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. No bias here whatsoever. None.
No
Zero.
bias. No bias.
Gant Products is wishing us a huge congrats, everyone. You work so hard, y'all rock.
Oh, thank you,
That is
Gant.
very kind of you. Very warm fuzzies. Appreciate that. Very nice.
Thank you.
I think one thing I'd like to say as we get into it is that Cantata's really fun. It works on scales of resources and decision making that you don't tend to find in a lot of comparable games that you may be thinking of as reference points when you get into it. And so, as you go through, I think you will start to recognize little gameplay loops and decisions that you've seen maybe in other places, but haven't expected to find in a game that functions the way Cantata does.
Hell yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think that our goal, with sort of with Cantata, what we've been trying to do is we want to strike this sort of balance between something that's more tactical, like an Advance Wars, War Group, Tiny Metal, and something that is at a higher level, like Civilization, Total War, or whatever. So we want sort of something that's like kind of in the middle area where it lets you have this really large tactical and strategic control over like a big map, but doesn't get bogged down in like the grand strategy stuff nor like the tactics stuff. So it sort of lets you exist at this like bigger level as you play. So you'll see that here, hopefully, shortly. Can someone also just confirm that we have the right game tag on Twitch? Just that if someone searches for Cantata, will they find us?
Right now I see it playing Science and Technology.
Oh yeah, this is sort of that.
I mean, there is Science and Technology in the Cantata universe, right?
There is. Oh, the game is not tagged. Let me see. Oh wait, there I have something. Oops. I'm just playing Science and Technology. I do see that. Let me see if there's a way. I don't know if there's a quick way from this to tag it as Cantata.
Tan Squared, thank you for the download and wish list. And yes, work from home the rest of the week. Good call. Good call.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can quickly tag this game as we're playing Cantata, and we'll get started here.
So I'm assuming the new.
Spacewolf Plays says, yeah, you have to submit the game to be a category. Spacewolf Plays says, yeah, you have to submit the game to be a category. David, work from home tomorrow. Yes.
I think we did submit to be a category. I might have just been that when I set this up. Let me just check it from Restream. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
That's the one.
It's now set as Cantata, everybody.
Playing a game that I've heard is pretty fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, without further ado, we'll get started. So, for the demo, we do not have the skirmish mode, nor do we have the modding tool in. Those will come later, maybe as parts of the demo, or other demos that will run between like now and then, but not super sure when. But rest assured, they will be in the final game. It's happening. We use these tools literally every day, so it's not going to be some like other thing that we release later. It is like we're using it. I used it last night, so it's all working. But we just tell you a little bit of stuff here that like, hey, it's not in yet. It's going to be a thing. Don't worry about it. But what is to play is chapter 1 of the campaign. So this is the first chapter, like I said, of 9 chapters in the game. And it's effectively all of chapter 1. There's a few things that are missing. There's some things we still want to add, but it is more or less in as we sort of intend for chapter 1 to be. Granted, there's still little bugs. We still have balance fixes and stuff that need to change, but that will happen sort of as we continue playing it and we also want to hear feedback from people about like what's going on and like how they're enjoying the stuff that we have before we sort of overcorrect. So, for those who don't know, Cantata has 9 commanding officers. There's 3 from each of the game's 3 factions, and so each chapter maps to a specific commanding officer. For Cantata in chapter 1, the first CO you'll be playing as is the Shotar of Mars. So he's this sort of like shitbag prince that has been commissioned to go chase down this rebellion by this faction of machines called the Unified Spirit that is led by this sort of renegade leader named Vashti. Chapter 1 sees you going onto the map and actually trying to chase Vashti's army down. So you can read this little flavor text if you want to, and then once you're ready, you can just click begin.
And while giving a moment, we also have on the chat, so we have the pixel artist, Vitaly, and we also have Royal who did the music. So I saw David posted about the music, so we're all here.
Everyone's here, except for Artem, who has done the character art. Artem is a very busy man. He might join by. We'll see. He might stop by in the chat. But otherwise, he will be here shortly. Oh, I realize our chat actually cuts off. I'm going to move our little heads so we can see some of the text. We actually have less stuff on this side of the screen. So if I do a little stack, a little Jenga stack, we can see what's going on. Yeah, so we're here we are. So we're in Cantata. So we're now playing the game. this starts out as there's a little sort of cutscene before you actually get into the game. And I don't know, should we read through this? Probably. Maybe. I've read
Maybe
this so
give it
many
some
times.
atmosphere.
I'll give some
I've also read
atmosphere.
this so many times. Yeah.
We could have someone read the lines. Rogue, do you want to read the exec lines because of the?
Live narration.
I'm good. I'm good.
Because of
I
reasons.
mean, I
Okay,
could attempt, but
I'll read it.
I think there should be space. All right, I'll read it.
All right. Oh, I don't want to read it. I don't feel like it's my place to read it. I'll just click it a little bit.
Well, Kyle, you're the showtar of this whole operations.
I know.
Well, only makes sense.
Slower, Kyle.
Lower?
Slower.
Oh, slower. Sorry, I'm just running through this dialogue. I'm like, yep, that's working. Looks good. So I guess also for a little context, this is the exec. She is also one of our commanding officers from the 111th Reign of Harmony and Prosper. So she will be a major character throughout the game. There's a mission in which you play as her, but for now we're playing as the Shotar. She's been sort of dispatched for this mission in order to kind of oversee the Shotar's military campaign, in part because she is the person bankrolling it. And here is our Shotar we saw from the chapter 1 sort of preview. She got a little bit of clap back from the Shotar, who, like I said, is a little shitbag. I love this art, so good. This is one of our melee on Usaya, or sorry, our ranged on Usaya, who you might see in the campaign. So, little story to bring you into it, and then so throughout chapter 1, probably like the first like quarter to a third of it, there will be this sort of helper text that will pop up to sort of guide you through playing the game. So the tutorial is more or less integrated with chapter 1. And it will prompt you with things to sort of do that will help you better understand the game systems. So don't skip through the helper text unless you feel like you really just want to sort of cowboy your way through the game systems, which, you know, if you want to do that, that's totally fine. But I definitely recommend reading it. We tried to make it sort of light and breezy and tie it to game systems pretty closely. So definitely recommend reading it. So I'll actually read this because I did write most of it. So this was written in my voice, so to speak. So welcome to the Cantata Gamescom demo. This helper text will pop up from time to time to help you learn the mechanics of the game. Let's jump into it. Build your first unit by clicking the yellow hammer at the top of the screen and selecting the tower transport. Once selected, click on any space on the map where your cursor shows a green arrow. See you soon. Okay, and now we're in the game. Woo! So first thing I recommend everyone doing is zooming in, so you can use your scroll wheel to zoom into the map. And also, if you're someone who wants to stream this game, you can play the game zoomed out. It's nice to sort of run around the map with a zoomed out view, but zooming in is definitely nice if you're trying to show it to other people because it's pixel art, so you want to see it closer. Yeah. Before we start building stuff, are there any questions in chat about what we've seen so far? What's going on? I'm like seeing stuff popping off. It's very exciting.
We had another quick question about the artists. I answered that briefly, but if you want to do a little more info on that one, Kyle.
Oh yeah. So the pixel artist is Vitaly, goes by Cobra Lad, and then the character artist is Artem Trakhanov, who I don't remember what his name is on Twitter, He got banned, I think, at one point for calling out comics artists doing NFTs, which was sort of funny. So he's, I don't know what his exact Twitter is right now, but we'll have, we'll like try to link to people a lot more sort of in public stuff in the, probably this week, just to kind of give people the love. But yeah, so pixel artist is one person and the character art is another person. And that, yeah, it works for us. Yeah, thank you, Raytheon. We do love the art. Okay, so I'll get started. So I don't want to give a huge overview of Cantata yet, because that will take some time. So what I recommend doing if you're playing it is just like sort of following the helper text. So I can see here at the top, I got a notification that told me that an objective was added. And so it's just telling me what happened, but also I can go over here and I have my little tower transport objective. So this says, using the infrastructure menu accessible from the yellow hammer at the top of the screen, select the tower transport and click on the map to build it. So this is infrastructure. So for Cantata, the way it sort of generally works is that you have units that are built from buildings, and our name for buildings is roughly infrastructure, because infrastructure itself is built from sort of an external menu that is not, things aren't already on the map. So if you've ever played something like Advance Wars or Wargroove or Tiny Metal, again, those games start out where all the buildings are already on the map and you're doing sort of a capturing thing. For us, you're effectively able to build anywhere, provided you have the requirements and resources to build this current buildings. Right now, for us, all we can build is this tower transport, because if I look at these other infrastructure here, they have level requirements. So right now I'm only player level 1. The next 3 things I can get, I need to be at level 3, and then level 5, 7, and then all the way up to level 10. So right now, all you can really build is this tower transport until you increase your level. And increasing your level is done by like attacking other units, being attacked. Building stuff also increases your experience points. So as you play, your sort of level will tick up and giving you access to stronger buildings. And so the first thing I'll build per this objective is this tower transport. So I'll click that. And when I place it down, well, I can sort of preview where I'm going to place this building. This is actually not a building, this is a unit. But when I look at it here, I can see that it's going to cost me 10 global supply and 5 lightning bolts. So that 10 is will be pulled from my global pool of resources here. So that'll tick down 10. And then my action economy, so this is going to cost 5, that'll tick down from here. So when I place that, a few things will happen. First, I'll get some more helper text. Good job. The menu you just used is called the infrastructure menu, which we just talked about. You have the benefit of me telling you what's going on instead of you have to read this. So this is like a super tutorial. It's where you can access sets of buildings placeable anywhere on the map. Placing infrastructure costs global supply as well as some amount of action points. You can see how much of both. I forgot I wrote all this stuff. I'm just telling you what's already here. You can see how much of both you have at the top of your screen, as well as hover over them for more info. Most actions in Cantata cost AP. AP refills to your maximum amount at the start of each turn. Global supply, however, is finite. You do not get more over the course of a match. So while you should be careful to spend all your AP to the best of your ability each turn, be careful in how much global supply you spend. A large investment early on could hurt you if you need to adapt to your tactics later in the scenario. For now, use your remaining AP to move your tower transport up the map to uncover more area. Click to select and click an open tile to move. If you run out of AP, end your turn using the button at the top right of the screen. So just to recap, global supply is a finite resource that will tick down as you take actions on the map. AP is a resource that is finite inside of a turn, but will refill at the start of your next turn. Additionally, as you level up, you'll get access to more action points. So this is sort of a system that we have come up with that acts as a way to sort of make it so you're not just, you can't take every action every turn sort of period, but then also as you are getting better as sort of a player and commanding officer, you're getting more AP, so you do have access to take more actions. So I will take a small quick break. Yeah, I am the meta helper text. Thank you, Rogue. Just providing flavor. I should have added my voice to the game, so I just sort of read it out. They've been great.
I mean, I already hear your voice in my head whenever I read the helper text.
Yeah, you're like, that's his writing. That's all the same spelling mistakes. All right, so we've placed our tower transport here. So when I mouse over it here, you can see that I can actually see its movement range. And if I click it, I select it. And so now when I'm mousing around here, I can see that places where it can go. You can also see that as I mouse over locations of where it can move to, it does have a little AP cost. So I can see here that this will cost me 3 AP to move. So, Oh, Rogue just lost it.
ASMR helper dialogue
ASMR helper
incoming.
dialogue. We need it. We need it. If someone wants to record some ASMR helper dialogue, I'm ready. So I'm going to click here to move. And so when I click to move, it's going to cost me 3 AP. And so I can see here my AP went from 5 to 2, and I now have only 2 AP left. So if I try to click, I don't have enough AP anymore to move. So what can I do? There's something I can do that I'm going to wait for a second. But right now, basically, I can just end my turn. So Cantata is turn-based, if it's not already obviously apparent. So when I end my turn, the other 2 people in this match, both AI players, will take their turn. The first is the Unified Spirit, who is Vashti's faction. And then we have Shoal. So the planet in Cantata is actually sort of an environmental faction that takes a turn in the same way that any of the normal factions do. So not only in the game are you like sort of fighting against the other 3 factions or the other 2 factions outside of yourself, there's another faction, which is Shoal, who's sort of making moves on the map like its own environment that has its sort of own goals and ideas. So I'm going to end my turn here. So when I end my turn, they'll take their turn. So I'm going to take a drink of water because I'm talking a lot.
I'll piggyback on
You
that.
whispered.
Say that the environment isn't just an abstract concept that kind of does things to make the world seem alive. There will be moments and opportunities for the player to make use of the environment in hopefully helpful capacities, and the opportunities you have to do that will vary based on sort of who you're playing and the situation. So it is actually something to pay attention to and not just cool background.
Yeah, not just cool background. Yeah. Cantata, Shoal, not just cool background. We need to see that as like a poster card, like a greetings from Shoal, not just abstract background. Okay, so it's our turn 2. I can do a few things. The first thing I'll talk about, though, while I have everyone here, is that so in the top right corner, we actually have a feedback button and a Discord button. So if at any point when you're playing the game, you can click this button and you can send us feedback. So you can say, wow, Cantata is the coolest game ever. Kyle seems awesome. You can just do this. And so you can say if it's a feedback or a bug. I would say that's feedback. Kyle being awesome might be a bug, depending on your preference. And then you can set the vibe. So you can say sort of how it makes you feel. So if it's like a really bad bug and you're sort of angry, you can click like mad. And if you're happy, you click happy, or anything in between. And then you can choose.
Really mad at how cool Cantata is.
Yeah, I'm really mad. This game's taking up all my time. So once that's there, you can do that and you can click send. And then what that'll do is that'll send. Oh, you can't actually see it because of our little heads. You can sort of see it. There's a send button down there you can click. Then once that's done, it takes a little. If you're like the first person to send feedback for the day, it will take a little bit extra time. But then the feedback is received. So I'm actually going to move Rogue's head. Sorry, Rogue. So what you can see here is that we actually give you back a little ID. So this is literally the ID of the ticket that was just created in our bug system. So if you're like on Discord and you want to like know like, hey, I submitted this feedback. What's the status of this? Or like, hey, this bug came in. Like, here's my bug. This is what I was seeing. Because the feedback tool also captures a screenshot. So if you want to follow up on something, you can just copy this number here, paste it to us in the Discord or the forums, and we can talk to you about where it's at. You can choose to submit more. You can just keep doing this all day if you really want to. The Discord button, I won't click, but this just opens the Discord. So it's just right here. If you want to like pop in to ask a question or something, you can just click that. It'll just open Discord. It's like, I think it's a perpetual invite link, so it should just work. So definitely recommend people use these. They're here to use and abuse by you. We read everything that comes in, and so any of it is appreciated. And we really thank you all for submitting any feedback. But back to Cantata. So I have my tower transport. My goal right now is just move to this location. So I can actually see by hovering over this objective, it'll tell me where I want to go. So it's just saying, hey, you need to move to here. So I'm just gonna do that and see what happens. You made it! There's a small detachment of enemies up ahead. Keep moving until you get close. You can also build a few more tower transports if you'd like. You'll need them for the upcoming battle. So I've now moved. I could choose to move again, but I'm telling myself through the helper text that I should maybe build another tower transport. So to do that, I can click this menu again and click the tower transport here and place it still anywhere on the map. So anywhere I have visibility, I can place this. The idea for the reign of Harmony and Prosper is that these tower transports, which I'll show you in a second, are full of conscripts. So these are the reign sort of like default basic unit, and the way the conscripts get on the map is that they're like launching down these tower transports that are full of these conscripts. So they're just like throwing down these tower transports to sort of deploy conscripts onto the battlefield. So I'm gonna place that there. Not as dramatic as that, but that's the idea. So now we have our tower transport. So I've placed this one. And if I actually, to look into it, I'll show you. If I click this transport and click storage here, I can actually see that I have 4 conscripts that are in its storage. So every tower transport that you build has 4 conscripts basically ready to go once you want to unload them, which we'll get to in a second. So first, I'm just gonna, let's see. Well, I have no AP left now, so I'm just gonna end my turn.
You can also end turn by hitting the space bar.
You can also end your turn by hitting the space bar. Thanks, Brandon. Or if you want to be a boomer like me, you can click the button. Click the big chunky button. All right, I'm gonna keep moving up here. Early reports show a significant machine encampment nearby, but they're scrambling any scans of the area now. Our troops should...
My troops will do what I told them to do. Find those machines and crush them into industrial waste!
Thank you, Brandon. That was lovely.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm gonna keep moving up.
That's how I read it in my head.
All right, so no machines yet, so I'm gonna end my turn again. Right now for chapter 1, there's not really a limit on turns. There's not really you do have global supply limits so that your supply is ticking down, which I can show you what that means a little bit later in the demo. But for now, you can sort of take as much time as you want, so don't feel pressured really to move across the map too much. However, if you run out of global supply, it will be hard to beat the chapter, so you might restart. Which I should also mention now, there is no saving system in Cantata. Oh, also, Oh Hot Nig is here. That is Artem, the character artist. Everyone show love for him. He is the person who's done all the lovely character art in the game. He has been a blessing to have on the project, so thank you, Artem, for popping into the chat. So there's no saving system right now in the game. There will be a saving system in the final game. Saving in this type of game is very difficult to do from like a programming perspective. So we are getting there. So if you start chapter 1, you do have to play it through or leave the map to restart it. You cannot save your progress midway. So forewarning, you can alt tab it, you can minimize it, but if you close the game or leave this scene, you will lose your progress. This is still a demo, so worth keeping in mind. All right, I'm gonna.
You just get to play more Cantata.
You get to play more Cantata. You can try it again.
Skate better.
Who needs saving? That's what I'm saying. Who needs saving? As every time I play Civ 6, I just play through straight the whole time. There's no. Why would I stop?
Yeah, when I do EU4, you go 1444 to 1821 in one sitting.
Don't take breaks.
There is no closing Cantata.
Machine sighted, sire. Warriors of the... Oh, wait, Brandon, do you want to do this voice?
Warriors of the 111th reign of Harmony and Prosper. Destroy them.
Ooh. Interesting delivery on the last line. Your first enemy! While the tower transport is good for transporting small detachments of units, it's not good at attacking. Luckily, every tower transport you build comes with a fresh-faced batch of conscripts ready for battle. Select a tower transport, then select its storage tab. You'll see 4 conscripts in storage. Click on one of them and click on the highlighted area of the map to unload that tile. So, like I was saying before, tower transports come with conscripts. So if I click one of these and then click storage here, and then I click on either the slot or what is inside the slot, If I click this, it will show me where I can unload these conscripts to. So if I mouse down here and click, great! Note that unloading as well as loading costs a small amount of AP. Units can be loaded back into other units through the same process, but by clicking on an empty slot in storage. Not all units can load into other units. Some larger units are too big for other units' storage. Your unloaded conscript has the ability to both move and attack. Hover over the unit and press Q to cycle its previews, switching between movement and attacking. Move the conscripts into range of the enemy and click on an in-range enemy to attack. And then, because that's a lot of control stuff, I say, check out the basic controls objective on the left for a quick rundown. So if you didn't pay attention to more text. That walker in the center, its legs are shot to pieces. They must have been unwilling to leave one of their own behind. It's almost...
foolish, idiotic, weak-willed.
Precisely my thoughts, sire. So again, basic controls up here in the top left. I don't know what's going on in chat. It seems like everyone's having a good time.
It's great. Tan Squared said they need a dev mode that just has developer dialogue readings for all the characters. And Space Wolf Plays says a perk only for early supporters. Sounds fun.
We could totally do like a little audio thing. You like run into it like an audio diary, and it's like developer notes. Alec, thoughts?
I better.
Cantata devs read you bedtime stories.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a great mod
only
idea.
for real ones.
Yeah.
Also,
Bioshock-esque audio diaries.
Little do y'all know that the devs are already doing all the voices.
We already do this all the time. We read their bedtime stories. Okay, so I've unloaded my conscript. I'm going to unload one more here just so we can show. So again, click storage, and then you click the slot, and then you click the spot on the map, and it unloads. And then now, so I did mention cycling previews. So this is something that you'll have to get used to when playing. But basically, some units have the ability to do multiple actions. And so when you select one, it will often default to moving. However, lots of units can both move and attack. So if I press Q, I can actually cycle and see the range. This is moving, and this is attacking. And then when I select the unit, I can actually see the same thing by pressing Q. And if I'm selected and I'm in my attack mode, I can actually see where I can attack. But also, if I'm in like a move mode and I mouse over something with one of these little crosshairs on it, it'll automatically switch to that mode. Because it's assuming, it's like, hey, you want to attack that unit. So now, if I just select this unit, mouse over this drone here, and I click, I've attacked. So moving and attacking with your conscripts and other units exhausts them. As units become more exhausted, it costs them more AP to attack and move. You can see a unit's current exhaust state in its information panel when selected. You can also toggle the UI badges for units with the E key, which lets you see vital information like exhaust at a glance. Exhaustion heals 1 point per turn, so be careful not to push individual units too hard, or it will take time for them to fully refresh. Having a larger attack force ensures you can continually use fresh, low AP actions instead of needing to rely on individuals with high AP costs. Keep moving across the map, taking out any enemies in your path. We'll check in again soon. So for any real heads who've been keeping track of Cantata, that stuff is new. So when I press E here, you'll see that this is sort of the new small little UI we have for people. And this will show us the exhaust state of a unit. So basically, when something moves or attacks, it will often exhaust. When things become more exhausted, their individual actions take more AP. So if I just attacked with this conscript here, I can actually see in my tooltip there that it says its exhaust state is tired. And if I mouse over this little triangle here, which is the exhaust state, it will actually show me the effect that its exhaust state has on moving and attacking. So right now, this conscript, if I was to move or attack with it, will cost 4 AP to do either action. However, these other fresh conscripts, their moving and attack cost is only 2. So I could literally attack or move with 2 other conscripts instead of attacking with 1. So what this means is that as you're sort of playing the game, to really play effectively, you need to have a sort of diverse army that's also large. It's able to do a lot of actions with your AP. Otherwise, you could easily spend your whole turn just pushing one unit really hard. That could be really good if you're in like a really intense battle and you have a really strong unit. However, oftentimes you want to keep stuff sort of fresh. So what I will do now is I only have 3 AP left anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and attack with this conscript here. And then I have 1 AP left, so I'm actually going to take this other tower transport, and I'm going to unload another conscript here. I'll end my turn. Uh-oh, here they come. The machines are moving in. All right, so this one's got 1 health left. So then, like the tutorial tooltip said as well, when at the start of each turn, anything that can exhaust will tick up 1 exhaust level. So all those other conscripts that were at that orange level are now back at green. So now everyone is basically ready. I can also sort of see the exhaust progression for someone if I click the conscript or any unit that exhausts. And inside here, I can see their exhaustion states. So right now I'm ready. So move and attack costs are just 2. Oh, sorry. And this is, yeah. So then in the little red there, you can see that the next exhaust state will add 2 to be 4, and the next one adds 6. So effectively, you want to have a diverse army that can stay sort of refreshed the whole time when you're playing. So for now, let's see. I want to move this conscript into position to maybe take out this drone here. Oh, there's another one over there. You can also do the same cycling for enemies. So I can press Q here and see the attack range of this builder drone. So I can see that it's actually a melee unit. And because these drones also have the ability to exhaust, I know that if they were trying to move and attack, that would be a lot of AP. So I can sort of be close to them and not worry too much about too many attacks. So I'm going to click this guy.
What you may be starting to see... Oh, I'll go into that after this tutorial.
Yeah, you leveled up. Taking actions on the map like attacking, building, and being attacked increase your player level. Your player level is visible at the top of the screen next to your player portrait, which is right there. When you level up, your maximum AP amount usually goes up, and you may unlock new infrastructure buildings to build. Keep fighting and building, and we'll check in again when you're level 3. So if I actually mouse up here, I can see that my maximum AP went up by 1, so I now have 11 max AP. And then, so now the next turn, it will fill back up to 11, which would be nice.
So what I was going to say is that what you can start to see here is that when you enter an engagement in Cantata, you start to have something that can almost feel more like a chess or other type of board game tactical situation where, in order to maximize your AP deployment, you're trying to position each of your units a little individually throughout places. Right. And that can feel different than something like a Civ where you're just kind of throwing your unit ball in there and hoping for the best, or a StarCraft type of thing where you might like click through, or you may keep sending a lot of individual units to do shit all around through micro. This is a lot more about those small immediate strategies or decisions on your turn that you make to position your units and attack.
Yeah. I think just to echo that too, I think a lot of what we're looking at when we're making Cantata, we're actually thinking a lot more about stuff like board games than necessarily trying to directly draw to say like, oh, we'll be the next Civ, or we'll be the next Total War. It's more like, what can we take from this sort of soup of genres that have been happening and make something that feels new and fresh? And so, yeah, definitely what Brandon was saying. I think trying to think about these tactical scenarios not as like, you know, this is not Into the Breach, Final Fantasy Tactics, like 7x7 map and like very specific placements. It's a little bit fuzzier and it's a little bit looser, which I think feels really interesting. So you're not gonna lose a chapter because of like one misclick or like one sort of improper placement. It's about sort of the accumulation of all those decisions over like the long arc of the chapter. So that, I think it's really nice to sort of live in this area where it feels sort of more alive and the map feels a little bit more dynamic, and you're not so at risk of losing like immediately if like something goes south and, you know, someone casts a spell on your big unit and it's like dead.
One point too that comes from this idea about the map feeling alive and making individual decisions that comes from a viewer comment. Vision is really important in Cantata, both discovering parts of the map and then keeping access to sections of vision. That influences where you can build infrastructure, where you're able to move to, and what you're able to respond to as things happen.
I think that's supposed to be 12. Oops. Let's see, so what else? So yeah, so we got now, so I ended my turn. I can see here, these little green bars, these are the health of the unit. So I can see here this guy is like actually at risk of maybe being attacked. So unless I can kill this drone in this turn, I may be worried that this person is going to be destroyed, which is not necessarily great. Right now in Cantata, there's no way for units to heal. We do have a very interesting idea about how that system will happen, which we might talk about maybe as Gamescom goes on. I think we are planning to do another stream either later on this week or this weekend, so we might talk about some of the future-facing stuff then. Right now, though, it's sort of in my best interest to try to keep these conscripts alive. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to load this conscript back into this transport. So if I click storage and then click here, I can now click to load this conscript into my tower transport. So it's now loaded in, and I'm going to unload this guy who is a fresh one. And so now I've got this new conscript on the map who's not at risk of dying. And I'm going to use maybe this one to attack here. And then again, instead of attacking again to use 4 AP, I'm going to use another one to attack, only costing 2 AP. So now I've got 5 AP left, and I just killed that drone. This one's over here, who's going to probably try to move into range of this transport. So maybe I'll start unloading some more conscripts here. And then...
Sure does say, today's a great day. The unit level ups are so fun to play with, and they've had a lot of fun doing some fancy micro with the transports with pulling back damaged units.
Already? That's great.
Already?
Yeah, the unit level ups are something that is sort of a newer thing for the game that I think we may have mentioned it like a while ago. You might have seen a preview of it if you watched the modding streams, but yeah, it's much more sort of robust now, and it's very exciting.
They were mentioned in one of our very first dev diaries
Yeah.
on experience types.
Actually, speaking, okay, we'll get to something very fun very, very soon, maybe even this turn. So I'm gonna move this guy up here. Actually, can I maybe cheese this? Let's see. Yes. Your conscript leveled up. Some units, like conscripts, have the ability to gain levels over the course of a battle. New levels unlock new perks for that unit, visible from the unit's perks tab. Unit perks are pseudo-randomly assigned, but are consistent between a unit type. You can see the perks you unlock in later levels as well in the perks tab. Higher level units accrue larger benefits in battle, so it's in your best interest to tactically choose who to put at the front line. We also encourage you to name individual units to match their perk flavor. You can rename a unit by clicking its name in the info panel. Okay, so this is a new thing too, so we can name units. So, I'll talk about perks first. So for perks, so this guy just leveled up. I assume he's a guy, he might be a woman. So in here, I can actually see that these are the perks this unit has. So at level 1, everyone for a conscript gets assigned a specific perk. So this one actually has a +1 vision range. And then I actually got a really lucky roll of the die here and has a +2 attack string. So that means that this conscript now does 3 damage, whereas these other ones do a base of 1. However, we can also rename our conscripts. So I feel like we should pull up some chat names here to get some conscripts going. So who's level 2? What do we want to do? Let's do, I see Tan's name. We'll do Tan squared. All right, Tan, don't let us down.
Concerned about being attached to the units now that you are the unit.
Yeah, boss.
Yeah, you are the unit.
Recommend getting attached to something with a little higher defense.
We got Paul Myers in here. Who else we got? Bosser, Paul Myers. Artem says Abun, A-B-N-C-H. Is that the name of your cat?
I see in chat that we, oh yeah.
Depends on if
Paul Myers. Mark 2 says kill me. All right, Mark 2, your front line, baby. Mark 2. I don't see anyone else from chat.
We got a 5-cent mic in chat.
We got a 5-cent mic in chat. I don't remember, is it with a 5 or the number?
Yeah, number 5.
5-cent mic in the chat. What up?
Yes.
Do you have anybody else on YouTube or Steam?
I see.
I haven't been like watching what's going on there.
No, no comments there. We do have Space Wolf Plays.
Space Wolf Plays. We have a, let's see, Mark 2, 5
I'm scrolling up.
Paul Myers, Boston. Gonna get another one here.
Bunchio lives again.
This one's about to die.
While we're talking through doing this naming too, I think it'll, as a fun promise of things to come, conscripts can potentially offer more than just fodder for attacking and dying. They can also play an important role in driving and fueling the infrastructure of the reign of harmony and prosperous war apparatus.
Yeah, so some of the idea for them is that they can actually be turned into other stuff by being used on infrastructure. So we'll see. They're not just a meat shield. All right, we got a lot of people in here. All right, everyone's been conscripted. Okay, so we've got Tan Squared. You're basically the lead attacker. Your moving is very expensive, so I don't want to necessarily move you. We'll get a Bossaru maybe up in here. We can take a few hits. Also, I know everyone's hurting for that sweet, sweet supply line gameplay. Don't worry, it's coming. It's still very much here. All right, we got 1 AP left. I don't have anybody in storage. Okay, I'm just getting my turn. And these little, worth remembering, these little mini UIs can be toggled on and off. They're not permanent. I really like how the game looks with them on, personally. It feels very tactical. So, you know, it's also nice to quickly check. All right, Tan Squared, lead attacker. Wow, one-shotting drones.
Wow.
We'll take it.
Amazing.
You can get like a nice little Fire Emblem issue here where, you know, in Fire Emblem, they give you that really strong unit turn 1 and you really want to just get everybody to use that unit. At the risk, though, of not giving everyone else experience. So, Tan, while you're the strongest, it is nice to use you. However, we do have to distribute the experience lest we fail in our mission later on.
You know, unless you're talking something like Fire Emblem 8 or 9, where Oifi can solo the entire game, essentially.
But that's the other side of it, right? Is that it's like, oh, just use that one unit all the time. So I don't think that'll be a thing here because exhaust matters. So, all right, we've leveled up. So we've leveled up to level 3. You've shown you have a good handle on the basis of Cantata. Thank you. So let's finally look at something more advanced. When you leveled up, you unlocked 3 new buildings: the refinery, engine factory, and garage. Go ahead and open up the infrastructure menu and build a refinery. When you place it on the map, place it on one of the symbols that appear on the ground. You know you have a good placement location when you see a white line drawn between your headquarters and the new building. After you build a refinery, do the same thing for an engine factory. Consult the new objective for a reminder about the steps. So I can see here, basically I need to build a refinery and an engine factory. So I'm gonna go back over here. I'm also gonna uncheck this, which just hides completed objectives, so it cleans us up a little bit. So what I wanna do, so I'm gonna go down here and click build infrastructure. I don't actually have enough AP to do this. I have 1 AP left. They all cost 2 to attack. Everyone's unloaded. So I'm gonna end my turn. Oh no! Who's getting hit? Mark II. Listen, you wanted to die, man. There it is.
There it is.
We'll let you fight back. Oh, I wonder if that's the bug. It's like not... There's a small bug with the game right now sometimes where if you mouse over something, it will tell you it's out of range. If you encounter this bug, just mouse over a different tile and mouse back to it, and then it should work. If presuming you are actually in range. If you're out of range, you won't be able to actually go to it. I think it's to do with the okay. Rogue, can you write this down real fast? Sorry.
Yes, got you.
Figure it out. The issue is that when we're moving off of UI elements onto tiles that are adjacent from the mini UI, we're not updating previews, I think is what's happening. I do think if you click though, it'll still work. Yeah, so I still killed it, but the preview, the tooltip was wrong. Okay, Mark II, you survived this round. Bossaru will give you some AP.
This is a relatable bug.
It's a what? Relatable
Paul
bug.
Myers.
Oh, man,
this is
yeah,
a relatable bug.
Paul Myers, everyone, is working on, oh god, I just blinked on the name. I just saw it today. Don't tell me. It is. I can see the title of the game. Oh god, I forgot the name of the game is called. I'm so sorry. Something Tactics. No, what's it called? Paul, I have to remember the name of your game. Paul is also working on a very.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat. If you're ready to
yes, Bolero Tactics. Paul Myers is working on Bolero Tactics. Check it out. It's a cool looking tactics game. All right, what we got here? So 10, you're the lead attacker now. So one thing you can see here too, so I've sort of cleaned up this area a lot. And so I have, I think I didn't lose a conscript. So I have 8 conscripts around. If I was gonna move all 8 of these conscripts like up the map, even just if none of them were exhausted, right? That is 16 AP to move all conscripts one move. I only have 11 AP right now, so I can't even do all that in one turn, which is why there is storage. So these tower transports, they cost 3 AP to move, but when they move, they can potentially move up to 4 conscripts at once. So it's sort of a more effective method to just load some of your conscripts in back into your tower transport and then just like scoot them up the map. So let's go here too.
Mechanized infantry time.
Tekken, yeah. Turn. Let's go here. Just eating everybody back up. Oh, I forgot to do what I was doing. Sorry, we're building supply lines. I got too excited about tactics. Okay, so this is a big part of Cantata. So I have my little units here. These conscripts are fine. However, they will get like totally destroyed. So what we want to do is actually, and the tower transports themselves are sort of slow. So what we eventually do want is more than 2 unit types. We want to build sort of stronger units that are more effective in battle, especially as I get further in this map. There's much harder stuff to destroy. So how do we do that? And this is sort of where the strategy elements of Cantata come in more than the tactics. So in my infrastructure menu, when I leveled up to level 3, I now unlocked a garage, a refinery, and an engine factory. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to click this refinery because my tooltip for my objective is telling me to build a refinery and engine factory. So I'll build that refinery. And so that's great. And then I'm also going to build this engine factory here. Let's build that there. And so when I'm placing it down, what I can see is that on the map where these little icons are, that is showing me where that supply type is available. And the line that is being drawn to me is showing me who can give me that supply type. So what this is saying right now is, hey, if you're to place this building here, the headquarters building will be able to give you alloys, which is what that supply type is. So I'm going to place that down. Great job. You built a refinery and engine factory because they're the first steps in setting up your base of operations. While the refinery and engine factory are unable to build units directly, they are able to build the supply types required for building units. For each building to work, you need to connect an input supply line to them of the correct type. Luckily, we already have our headquarters set up with some alloy lines required by both the engine factory and refinery. Open the headquarters build panel and click on an alloy line. Once selected, it will show you where you can build supply lines to, with the white dotted lines representing possible connections. Select one of the buildings. The white line is going to select it. That should be rewritten. Connecting your alloy line. Do the same for the other alloy line to your other building. Once connected, your engine factory and refinery will start receiving some alloys from your headquarters at the start of each turn. After you do this, build a garage, so on. Yeah, so that is just to briefly summarize that. Basically, when I go to my headquarters here, if I go to my build panel, I can see that I have some number of alloy supply lines that can be given to these buildings. What's also been happening is at the start of each turn, if I go to this info panel, this building takes a supply income. So at the start of each turn, this headquarters is actually converting some number of global supply, which is up here, into alloys, which have been going to its storage. So right now, this actually has 60 alloys in its storage, because since the start of the game, it's been sort of it's been converting global supply into this alloy supply type. So then those alloys themselves, if I mouse over here, I can see that this, for example, costs 1 alloy to build. So if I click this, what this is now showing me is where these alloys can be built to. So these lines that I'm seeing now are not actually connected yet. It is just simply showing me where they could go. If I mouse over them, you can hear that nice little lovely Alec created sound effect that tells me like, hey, this is a valid place to connect the supply line. And when I click this, you'll see that now I'm out of that menu and I still see that supply line showing me that I'm now getting alloys there. When I click the engine factory and go to its storage now, I don't have any alloys in here yet. So supply lines take at least one turn to propagate their supply along the supply network. So I can't actually do anything. I won't have any alloys here until the start of the next turn. However, I can build other supply lines here. So I'll build this one to my refinery. And when I mouse over this, it'll actually show me some info. So it's saying click to connect an alloy supply line to the refinery from my headquarters. My current alloy income on the refinery is 0. And after I connect it, it will be +3 for 3. So at the start of the next turn, I should see 3 alloys inside my refinery. Now those supply lines are connected. So we now have our first 2 supply lines. Does anyone in chat have any questions about that at all before we go on? Everyone's excited about infrastructure.
Supply lines.
Everyone's just saying supply lines. Mostly Rogue saying supply lines. That's great.
We love to see it.
We love to see it. So also, Cantata, again, is about sort of balancing these sort of things. So even though I really drilled in over here to do this little supply network thing, sometimes connecting lines will cost AP, sometimes they don't. Right now I do have 2 AP left, so I could actually, if I want to, move some of these units. So as you're taking any actions in Cantata, you're always sort of doing this balance where you're sort of making sure to manage your base at the same time as you're managing your front line, and ideally kind of having them be sort of close together. In chapter 1, you don't have a lot of contest at your base, so you're not going to get like side-swiped in your base. However, these buildings you build are able to be attacked by other units, so it's possible that your buildings get taken out, you lose the supply that's inside of them or stored up, etc., etc. We're not that mean to you in chapter 1, so it's worth being aware of. What we want to do is sort of build our supply network so it can be close to our front line in general. With my 2 AP left, Tan, you are our strongest attacker, so I'm going to move you closer to, let's see, this basic drone. I still need to go like 3 spots over. Let's go like there. And then we got Bossaru bringing up the rear. The broken Samson will not attack us, so don't worry about that.
Mr. Super Happy.
I think what that says is that Alec is the equivalent of Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Mr. Super Happy.
That's a lot of pressure, but I'll take it.
Also, I don't know if people, I'm not like keeping track of viewer counts, but people are just joining us. We are playing Cantata. This is the sci-fi psychedelic tactical strategy game, very much inspired by games like Civilization and Advanced Wars, but acting at a much larger sort of strategic scale. Our demo is live currently as part of Gamescom on Steam. You can download it and play literally what you're seeing here. Wishlist the game if you like it. Even if you don't like it, wishlist it, because it does help us get sort of boosted in the Steam algorithm once the game actually releases. But for now, you can play through what we're playing through, which is chapter 1, which is chapter 1 of 9 total chapters that'll be released with the full game, as well as some other fun stuff that we'll talk about maybe later on in the week for Gamescom. So if you're joining, thank you for stopping by to say hello. And feel free to ask any questions in chat. We're friendly. We're here to sort of just talk to you about general stuff with the game. So
That's very fun.
12 AP, or my AP's gone up. So Tan just took 2 hits. That's not great. But luckily he can one-shot people, so I will just take out that person. I do want to get Bossaru back inside this tower transport, who does have a slot. I'm just going to move him, and then I'm going to load Bossaru back in there. I have 7 AP left. I'm going to use 5 of that to build this garage. So I can see when I mouse over this infrastructure, it's telling me it's going to cost me 5 AP as well as 10 supply. So not only does, so my headquarters is converting global supply at this -5. So I'm converting 5 global supply into this 5 alloys here. Also, some infrastructure, actually most infrastructure when built will cost also global supply. So when I build this, I'm going to take that down 10 as well. So I'm going to go ahead and build my garage here. And you can see when I'm placing my garage, we actually have different icons on the map. So this is showing me actually that some spots not only have one of the types are available, there's also 2 types. So the garage, for example, if I actually mouse over this here, I can see that to build this Recon Rickshaw unit, I actually need these 2 other supply types, which I know are called engines and fuel. So I actually want to place this not where I can just get fuel, nor where I can just get engines, but I want to place it where I can actually get both fuel and engines. If you were to place it here or here, there are ways that you can actually get that thing engines, which we might talk about in a little bit. But for now, to make it easy, I will place it as close to the front line as possible in a position where I can connect those 2 buildings. Helper Tech says, woo! Great job on getting here. We're closing in on the final steps until you're off on your own. Your final task is to connect engine and fuel lines from your built buildings to your garage. After those lines are connected, and after a few turns, you'll have enough supply in storage to build a rickshaw. Build the rickshaw on the map when you can. So, if I go to my, if I go to my built garage here, I can go to my build panel, and I can see here that I have this Recon Rickshaw option. So this will cost me 3 AP, 2 engines, and 3 fuel. If I go to my storage, I can say I don't have any of those supply types. I don't have enough AP either, but what will happen is that once these other supply lines are connected, that supply will propagate up through to that garage. So you might start getting the sense of feeling that this is a little bit like Factorio, and that is very much sort of what's happening, is that supply types are sort of being converted into other more specified types for very specific actions. So what you're doing is you're trying to set up your actual supply network to actually have stuff that gets have like supply inside of your buildings that's able to then build those actual buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Patrick
hey Kyle, can you go back?
here. What up, Pimo? What's up?
Nice. Can you go back to the build panel on the garage?
I would love
Yeah.
to.
So if you did find that you had placed the garage in an area that was not advantageous and could not be connected to both supply lines, and you wanted to move the garage instead of making a repeater, in the lower right-hand corner, all of these infrastructure now have a self-destruct project.
Self-destruct. Yeah. So if you want to like, some people also, when they've been playing, they've been like, oh, I want to sort of clean up my base to make it like a little bit tidier. So you can self-destruct. I can actually do this now just to show you. It will destroy the building and it refunds me back a little bit of supply. You could, I guess if you really wanted to, you could like, if you were fighting an army, you could like self-destruct all your buildings to deny people the XP of them. But it does cost AP, so you are sort of doing a trade-off where like it might be better to attack instead of self-destructing your own building. But, you know, this you could do it if you wanted to. All right, so I'm gonna end my turn here. All right, I am gonna build.
Meanwhile, enjoying how Bimunda is just fully embracing the role of the Shotar cat.
In the chat, you just role playing. All right, so I'm gonna go and build my garage back again. And so because my alloys lines have been connected to these 2 buildings, if I go to their storage, you will see now that I've been getting alloys. In the demo right now, supply lines only have 1 level, so they just have 1 sort of constant rate. In the final game, this is actually implemented now, but we just locked it to 1 because it's easier to understand. You will be able to actually upgrade supply lines. So supply lines will sort of start out weaker, only giving like 1 or 2 supply. And then if you want to spend the AP and the resources to upgrade those supply lines to make them more effective, you can do that. So right now, these all say max level because we just have 1 level on them. But in the future, you will be able to upgrade supply lines should you want to. For now, though, I will just build my engines. So if I click engines here, I can now see that I only have basically 1 location to put this to. So if I mouse over my garage, it will tell me that I can go here. And then if I click my refinery, basically the same thing. I can also see, just to recap, when I mouse over these, To build a supply line, it does cost some supply as well. So this one, for example, costs 1 alloy. So in my storage here, when I build that alloy would drop down to 5. So that to say, for things like the garage, which itself has things like the rickshaw, which costs fuel or both fuel and engines. Plating, I can see as a supply line, costs fuel. So if I'm to use supply to build like plating supply lines, I might actually end up using the fuel that I wanted to use to build my rickshaw. So it is sort of a zero-sum thing. You are actually consuming the supply in your storage. So now if I mouse over my rickshaw, I can see that I need 2 engines and 3 fuel. I, however, do not have any of that yet. So I can just wait a turn and then go back to my front line here. So
what starts to illustrate is this idea that you'll often kind of have a part of your turn that's dedicated to base and infrastructure management versus a part of your turn that's kind of the tactical side of moving units around.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can make those hard decisions to say this is going to be a full unit turn, but that is a turn where you're not doing much of anything on the base side. And those are important little decisions you'll be making.
And I think too, like for chapter 1, they're sort of a little, they're like slightly separate, where the front line and tactical stuff can very easily lag behind where the base is at, and sort of the other later, and that is by design for chapter 1. Oh, Brandon just dropped. Oh, he's back. It is by design a little bit, because for chapter 1 we don't want it to be super hard. For other chapters, that sort of base building and tactical stuff will intermingle a little bit more, where there's a lot more stuff sort of happening around you, where you're having to fight some of these battles at your base. For chapter 1, it's pretty simple. You can kind of just keep a front line separate from your base and not really worry about a ton of other stuff. Mr. Super Happy Pants in chat says, I can already feel the soundtrack assimilating with my brain like the guitar from RimWorld did for 4 years. That's great. Also, thank you, Tan, for stopping by. Also, Mr. Super Happy Pants, we have so much music written for the game. This is like but a small sampling. We have a lot of other stuff that was Royalty, who is doing the music, has done a great job in making the vibe really good. Oh, we have a little builder drone here. He might come try to attack our little tower transport.
Thankfully, the tower transport is a little tanky.
I can't remember if that's supposed to be that high. Maybe it was. I don't remember. I think we should unload
Collecting
Tan.
all the content.
Is Tan still here? Oh, I don't have the names on them here. I don't remember which one he is.
Oh no!
This little feature
We need
request.
Tan!
Yeah. Maybe I can outrun that.
Wait, can you actually submit a feedback for that?
Oh, I will submit it. Yeah, so we have a feedback
just
tool. I'm gonna move Rogue
for those
in
who
here.
have not seen it.
For those who missed it. So in our game, you can click this little feedback tab. You can also just press F8 if you want to, if you're a key binding type person. You can submit feedback. So I'm gonna say, I wish there was a way for me, I don't wish. I want to be able to see the names and stats of the units in the storage of a tower transport. I think that's a neutral thing. Maybe I'll include a screenshot. So I can actually open my tower transport here. And I'll just say retake screenshot. Now it's done, and then I will click send. Now it's going out to the world, and by out to the world I mean going to me and Rogue. So Rogue and I will handle all of your lovely feedback. Do. Right, there's my bug. Cool, Rogue, I'm gonna put your head back on top of our little head stack over here.
Got it.
Feedback received. Alright, so I have 3 AP left. Let's see, my garage here. Build. I have my rickshaws available now. Okay, so this is 3 AP, 2 engines, and 3 fuel. So I look like I have just enough, I think. So I have 10 engines, 6 fuel, and then if I click this, so when I click to build this, it will tell me where I want to build it, or ask me where I want to build it. And so if I mouse here, I can see it's going to cost me 3 AP. You did it!
You did it.
Congratulations, spelled wrong. You now know the basics of playing Cantata. Supply lines are a major part of the game and unlock your ability to build stronger units on the map. Effectively managing them along with your army is the key to success in the game. I'll leave you alone for the rest of the scenarios so you can explore in relative peace and war. Your goal now is to reach the far corner of the map to chase down Vashti's army. Have fun, and if you join Cantata, please don't forget to wishlist us on Steam. So this basically concludes the sort of tutorialization of the game. At this point, you've learned a lot of the core systems of the game. You've learned how to build stuff, connect supply lines, move, attack, learned about exhaust, learned about loading and unloading, all those things, and then we sort of kind of let you go at this point. So my rickshaw, I can already see off the bat, it has a much larger movement range than my conscript or my tower transport. And I can actually see here that it's able to attack, which is nice. So the tower transport's not able to attack. And it has 2 slots in storage. So I can actually store 2 conscripts inside my rickshaw here. So maybe what I'll do my next turn is I'm gonna build another rickshaw and maybe dump some conscripts from a new tower transport into those. Rickshaws also do exhaust, so I need to make sure that I don't want to just rely on one of them. So I'll end my turn.
Despite the fact that the rickshaw is the strongest unit in the game.
If only it was the strongest unit in the game. All right, let's build another. Oh yeah, we have a little bit of text bugs. We don't. It's all right. So I'm gonna build another rickshaw. And I'm going to show you a fun, hot Cantata tip that we don't talk to you about. So I'm going to build the tower transport here. So you can unload units to the map, but you can also, if it's possible, unload a unit from you can basically transfer stuff. So right now, my Recon Rickshaw has nothing in its storage, and this tower transport I built has these 4 conscripts. I can actually click this, oops, and then if I click here, I think this will work. Oh, is it too small? Maybe we block it.
No, don't you need to click the drop menu? You're building from the selection interface.
No, I think we might have blocked it.
Okay.
Okay, well in the future you can unload stuff. I forgot that we took that out for the demo. Sorry. We never saw anything. Regardless, though, I will still I'm gonna unload my conscripts here, and then I don't have enough AP to. Oh yeah, because these cost 3 AP to move. RIP. Maybe I'll just move.
Move the conscripts.
Yeah.
And prepare them for loading, or
exactly.
You can move them further away.
One. Well, I can move the rickshaw up there too. Let's do like a little bit of exploring here. Ooh, there's a small machine base up ahead, sire. Brandon?
Where's Brandon?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I was responding to a chat question. What are you waiting for? Attack!
Attack! So we can see here we actually have a little machine base popping in. I know this is sort of hard to see on stream, so I'm just going to zoom out. So we've basically only gone through sort of this little first area of the map, which is downbeat sort of by design. It's not meant to be the most aggressive part of Cantata that there ever was, but the map is quite large. So I'm just going to slowly zoom across here. So all this black area, all this area over here, and over here, and over here, and we finally get over here to this little tile. So I think this map is, I want to say it's 128 by 128 tiles. So it's pretty, it's what we would call a sort of small to medium map. So the map itself would probably take, I think it would take most people probably an hour to 2 hours maybe to play across the whole thing. We've been going very slow. Because we're walking everybody through stuff, so it is a lot, and there are things to sort of explore and discover that it's not totally linear. You don't just sort of move along a single path. There's like little story bits, and there are some Easter eggs, so feel free to look for those. But the idea for Cantata is, so not only are you doing this sort of tactical building and then also doing sort of tactical battles and sort of strategy, part of the game is about exploration. So there is like some, we would call it like negative space maybe on the map of stuff where we're not solely focused on fighting all the time. So again, comparing it to stuff like Advanced Wars or Wargroove, Tiny Metal, again, the game is not just like we're all battle all the time. There is some downtime, and that time is meant to sort of explore the map, to build up your base a little bit, and generally sort of like expand across the map and discover the stuff, because there's also a story that is incorporated with the actual gameplay itself. It's not just battles. So while you will be doing a lot of fighting and you will be doing a lot of base building, there is this other element that we think is really special about Cantata that has to do with like exploration and discovery, that I think is like really, really exciting. It makes exploring the map feel like worth it. We're not just sort of pursuing an objective. You're not just trying to fight a battle. You are trying to do other stuff.
Foster asks, will there be large-scale transports about?
Will there be large-scale transports? There are sort of large-scale transports. You mean like larger than a tower transport or a rickshaw? You mean like one unit that can house a lot of stuff? Why can I put the remains of my conscripts back in my
Because
that's a feature, man.
Yes, because as an honorable general, you are expected to return the remains of your soldiers back home for proper burial.
So that is actually, so one thing that we haven't talked a lot about is that, so you might have saw it a little bit when we killed some of the drone units. They dropped scrap. So mostly organic units will drop remains, which is sort of like organic matter, and then machine units will drop scrap. Specifically the Shotar, who we're playing as now, doesn't really utilize either of those things, but for other COs and other factions, those are actually sort of important gameplay things. So as a small tease, when you're playing as the executive, one of our ideas that will probably make it in is that the executive is very, very profit driven. She's very interested in sort of trying to make sure that, you know, they're not breaking the bank on this war. One of the ideas is actually that she can cash in conscript corpses for global supply. So she can run around the map and effectively pick them up and sort of sell them back to the planet, giving you more global supply than you would have to start.
Or other remains.
Yeah, or sorry, did I say remains?
Yeah.
You said conscript corpses, but I was saying just
remains. Sorry, yeah, remains. So those are actually a pretty core mechanic of the game. The Shotar, who we're playing as, and you do get to see later in Chapter 1, doesn't really use either of those things, but you can get a little taste of it. So, I mean, really worth driving home on that point as well, that we are just playing as one CO from one faction. So there are 9 COs. The Shotar is probably the most straightforward. When you see him later in the map, it's a single unit, but it's got an interesting sort of attack, but otherwise it's not too special. As you start to branch out to the other 2 factions, the Unified Spirit and the People of Sun and Shadow, their COs and units are sort of weirder. So we're playing right now a pretty standard tactical game, and you might see more tomorrow about some of that stuff. I don't want to spoil too much. That is, we said 8/26/21. It is only the 25th, so something is still coming tomorrow. So you'll maybe see more then. But this is sort of like bog standard Cantata. You're playing as the humans. You got transports. You got attacking and movers. What else do you want? So we thought that was sort of a good intro to the game because it's most like other stuff you've probably played, compared to the other factions and COs that are a little bit weirder, we'll say.
Yeah.
Also, just
exactly
to quickly circle back again to Basaru's question, there are potentially some things coming down the pipeline concerning larger transportation, movement, etc.
Yeah, but it is worth saying everything in Cantata is still one tile, so we don't have sort of multi-tile things, so things will still be one. There might be some things that have sort of larger storage capacities inside of themselves, but it's not like we're going to have some giant, map-sized unit. Maybe for Cantata 2. Cantata 1, I don't think it's going to happen. All right.
I like the idea of feeding remains to the forest, though.
That's a good idea. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to
Gold
move...
and
I'm just going to move us into this base a little bit to sort of see what's going on, and then maybe try to wrap the stream. We've been going for almost 2 hours now, so gotta give people time to play the game. Ooh, what is this? Cherubin. So these are part of the unified spirit. So these are some other enemies that are going to want to attack us. So let's go ahead and unload. Oh, shoot. Okay, so there's a lot more stuff going on here. So I have a lot of cherubin and drones. There's this thing called the Heart. What's that? Crazy looking building. It looks like it can also attack when I mouse over it. So if I get too close to it, that building's going to attack me. I'll go ahead and let me unload more of these people. Oh, I didn't load anybody into my rickshaw. Oh no. Alright, let's see what happens here. Oh no!
Oh no! Who died?
I don't know, I missed it. Oh, it says here, I think. I want to see the name of the person who died in the twin tip. Maybe he'll add
This
some
is looking
feedback.
a little scary. Yeah, add some feedback.
I want to see the name of the unit that died in my notification.
Be sad. Be sad.
Send.
It's like an airport bathroom
I'm
feedback
not
system on
sad.
steroids.
I think it's more like sad if you're like the I guess maybe it's a sad thing. It died.
It died.
I think I just
You
don't
don't
want to
know who
send
it
myself
was.
sad feedback.
Well, I think I sent in some angry feedback.
Any
Or
soldier
something.
who would die to an overgrown toaster was never worthy of the name soldier to begin with.
There you go. All right, who we got here? Tan squared. Okay, you're the Tan's gone, so maybe we can just let Tan die. Paul Myers holding it down. Bossaru holding it down. All right, so what should we do here? So the cherubin are pretty strong. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're a little outnumbered here with 3 conscripts, but let's see what we can do. We do know that Tan. So we want
It's a
Tan
one-shot.
to attack. Yeah. Oh, these are the same. So maybe I'll attack that. And then let's bring up some exhaust. So I've got Bossaru. Let's see. Maybe this one? This one seems like... Oh, it's totally the bug. It's the UI. And then Paul Myers.
You can do what you want here, but this situation was we in the business generally call foobar.
I also do want to load the remains into storage. So, 5-Cent Mike in the chat was talking about loading remains into storage. So storage, I don't want to talk to you about exactly how it all works right now, but effectively, if you open up something storage, you can see this little weight number here. So this says 2. What that sort of means is that that slot itself is able to hold something that weighs up to 2, or whose combined weight of things inside of it is 2. So I could hold one thing that weighs 2, or 2 things that weigh 1. We haven't talked about weights and capacities, which is a whole other system in Cantata that we sort of don't talk about in chapter 1 because it's not super important. But if I click a unit here, I can see that this, I can see tan squared weighs 2. So if I was to load this into my tower transport here, they would take up the whole slot. So I can see here now in slot 1, there's 1 of 1 conscript. However, if I go here, I can actually load these remains. And they're 1, oh, because the stack limit is 1. Okay, so then there's another system that dictates the stack limit, but basically now the remains are in here. So if I want to go take these remains over back to my base to form a big stack of remains, which if someone does that, that would be amazing. If someone explicitly collects all the remains of their units and goes and dumps them back at their home base, I will give you a free key to play Cantata when it comes out, as long as you take a screenshot of it and send it to me, because that would be hilarious to see someone like just put all their remains at the back of their base so that
all of the remains from beating this chapter.
All of them, yeah. Well, it might be not a ton, but yeah, just if you have at least like 15 or 20, that would be amazing to see.
Masri said, I don't know if it's working as intended, but tower transports can be called down anywhere there is vision. Steel rain. And I said yes.
It is working
Meat
as
shields
intended.
on demand.
Yeah, so the thing with the tower transports, they do cost 5 AP. So to put down a tower transport, you're going to spend 5 AP and 10 supply, and to unload, you're going to spend 1. So that's effectively 6 AP to get 1 unit on the map. So it is sort of expensive, and the intention is that you can place them anywhere on the map. That's sort of how the human faction, the Rain, like that's how the Rain sort of gets their default units. Other factions do things sort of differently. But these, the idea for them is that they are sort of this global planetary presence that are able to just sort of like but you don't want to just like drop them down, because you're going to use all your AP and then you don't have anything and no actions to do.
Yeah. And then it still costs AP to have them do things, and then you spent your entire turn essentially to like have a conscript or two do things. It can be valuable, but that's a big cost. I mean, it'd be like spending your entire turn 7 in Magic the Gathering putting down a 1/1 creature.
You wouldn't do that.
No, not ideally.
A lot of remains that way.
You could do, yeah.
I do that.
Oh, so
I'm picking up on something like, Bring Out Your Dead and, Necromancer Rogue. We're starting to get a Warcraft 3 mod.
It sounds really ruined.
I want your dead.
For the Scourge.
I want your dead. Bring them to me.
That's a great. Who suggested that? I just saw that. That's a
Basaru.
Basaru, yeah.
That's a great name. Yeah. So we got. So this is a situation where, attacking this with one of these tired units will cost me 4 AP, but my corpse cart is starting to take some damage. I think we'll probably lower the health of these. I thought I lowered them. The fact that they're still 10 is suspicious. So, but I don't want them to destroy my tower transport. My tower transport, because it is a nice thing to have. So maybe I'll unload this conscript here.
Those are the true dev powers. Just hot changing the HP numbers of your units as you play to make sure that they don't die.
I balance the game live, so it's easy for me. I don't know if you guys do that. Okay, I am still out of range of this unit. Oh, I should not end my turn. I had 6 AP left. What am I doing? Oh, so this
Live
heart
changes made
just
possible
builds
by
cherubim.
Cantata's
So this heart
robust
just built
modding
this unit and is running over to me. All right, I want to get this situation going over here. So I want. Oh, lovely. All right, so I'm gonna load that guy. And let's go ahead and get this one up here.
I tend to agree with you, Basaru. 10 feels pretty alright for the transports. Slow, tanky, but transports. Also means you can use them for bait.
That's true, you can bait people with them.
I do like that.
But like we're investing resources into armor for the conscripts. They're conscripts.
It's just to get them to where they need to be. After that, we don't care.
A little scary over there.
It is a little scary over here. Paul, I don't know, man. Oh, dead. Sorry, Paul.
So this situation is beginning to highlight the importance in Cantata of actually having a functional supply network that can deliver units fairly quickly to where you need them to go.
Right. So I could, if I wanted to, like spawn down like a lot of tower transports, but I'm just gonna be working with conscripts, and so conscripts only do 1 damage, and like the heart, this thing's got 15-20 health. So by the time I'm able to like attack it that much, unless I like have a really strong conscript like like Tan. Yeah, so Tan's got +2 attack and +1 vision. So even if Tan was to attack this, that's going to take a while. So again, there's no time limit in chapter 1, so it's not like you have to do it quickly. But in future, maybe in chapter 1, in the final one, there will be some sort of time limit, and there will probably be some actual losing conditions. But if you do want to beat the game in sort of a reasonable amount of time before you run out of global supply, you do want to sort of have an army that's able to move through and attack stuff and not just chip away one conscript at a time. I am actually interested to see like how long people take to beat the maps. So right now we're at turn 23. We're up here. I would sort of expect it takes people probably like 60 to 70 turns to maybe beat the whole map if you're kind of really good. So I'm interested to know, kind of, especially people in the chat once you play. Let us know on the forums or Discord how long it takes you. Space Wolf's talking about dev stuff. We do actually have dev controls. They're not in this build, but we do have sort of dev powers that let us like refill our AP and like give us more supply and like unexhaust units, so we can sort of quickly like through the map.
I feel like Tan Squared is one hit away from leveling up. Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go, level 3. What'd you get, Tan? Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Move
mobile.
range. Oh wow.
And
So
max
now I'm
out.
like, I don't really want Tan to die, because that would be bad. What's the move range on these? Oof. Oof.
Cherubim are actually really scary.
Yeah, the cherubims are terrifying.
Especially.
That's small.
Alright, I'll get my... I think... I'm at AP. Oh,
Also,
no.
if you have any balancing feedback, we're also happy to receive any balancing feedback. If you think something is like too hard for a certain part or too easy or whatever it might be, that's what the feedback is also there for, not just bugs.
And what I'll say to that too is what we're particularly interested in are just the more of those feel crafty senses right now of the I fought this thing and I don't know, I wish that I had been stronger, or maybe I felt that I was too strong in these moments. Just trying to get those initial visceral emotional gut reactions is important at this stage.
Everyone's exhausted. Oh, you're not exhausted. So I'm just gonna move. I'm gonna see if I can lay a small siege to these. So I want to kill these heart units because they're gonna keep spawning these cherubim. So if I want to actually start building my supply lines up here, I need to make sure I clear these guys out. In that turn, they chose to do nothing. Oh, he's blocked by the scrap. I see. I'm just playing Cantata now. I'm just like, yeah, let's just get it.
And yet you finished once again
Oh,
with
no!
6 AP left.
Ah! Sorry.
What happened? What happened?
Tan just died.
Got
No.
cherubim.
Got cherubim.
With 6 AP left over there. Base untouched.
Base on
King Rat asks, how far into a level is this?
How
There's
far
a
into
lot
level?
more of chapter 1.
There's a lot more, yeah. So this is, I would say we are 10, 15%. So I did this a second ago too, just to show you again. So this is sort of like, this is like the first little intro area where you're just sort of moving through and just kind of learning how to play the game. And this is kind of your first big battle. The map is pretty big, so I'm just still scrolling across the map here. I don't know if this will come through in the video, but so it's about, this map I think is about 128 by 128. So there's like a lot of stuff to sort of explore and discover. There's a whole like human colony, like abandoned human colony that's over here. There's some secrets in the north. There's some like cool stuff in the south, and there's a really big battle right at the very end. So we sort of expect people, if you're really playing it sort of deliberately and not, you know, streaming and trying to talk about this, it'll take like 1 to 3 hours to play. Maybe more, maybe less. This is definitely the first time we've had a lot of people playing the game. So I'm interested also to hear sort of feedback about what people think about the game length, how they sort of experienced it, all that stuff. It's all very valid feedback. And again, feedback form right here. It takes no time at all just to send some stuff if you want to.
Yeah, when we say chapter in Cantata, we really mean like a big chunk of gameplay, of story, something that you can really feel satisfied with what you've built and accomplished by the end of it.
Yeah, so chapters for us are like, it's effectively like a chapter and a scenario for us are sort of one and the same. So we have 9 chapters, 9 maps effectively, but these maps are very large. These are not like single encounter things. They will take you time to beat. So it does suck right now that the save system did not make it in for the demo, so you do sort of have to play it and then all in one go, or like minimize it or whatever. That is unfortunate, but there's a pretty chunky demo to effectively play here, and we're really just sort of scratching the surface of chapter 1. There's a lot of other stuff that happens around and like the map reactivity and stuff. This first area again is very sort of simple, not super contested. It's meant to sort of be a really small introduction into the game. Let's see, so I'm dragging my rickshaws over here, but I do want to show, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about one of the more advanced things in Cantata, and then we'll probably wrap the stream up here in like 5 or 10 minutes. So you can already see here that if I'm just building buildings sort of near the stuff that can already be built, it could take me a while to get across the map. So what we do is that everything that can build a supply line has the ability to, instead of directly connecting to another building, can actually build a repeater. So repeaters allow you to extend your supply range sort of beyond just the range of a single building. So let's say, for example, actually I know this because it is our game. This hangar here at level 10 that builds this gunship, this thing needs alloys. So when I place a building down, I can see that there's a sort of red area. So I can't ever place a building down where it is sort of overlapping the area of another building, nor can I place it where my range is overlapping someone else's range. So you can see here my map will start to get kind of packed pretty quickly. So I might want to try to build a hangar out here, but how do I get my alloys, right, if I can't build my building close to my headquarters? So what you can do is, if I click my headquarters, for example, I go to build, I have this alloys line. So when I click this, I can see that there's this thick purple range. This is showing me my directly supplyable range. So anything inside this range, I can directly connect to. However, there's this other range that exists between this thick purple line and this thin purple line over here. And when I mouse between here, I can actually see that it'll say, build a repeater. So this is saying repeaters accept an input supply line from a supply source in order to extend the range in which they can access that global supply type, but may cost global supply or AP to build. So what I can do is I can actually effectively extend the range of this. So if I click this here, what it'll do is I'll spend 5 global supply and 2 AP. And there's a little helper text too. He builds a repeater. Repeaters are available for any supply lines you can build at your built buildings. Repeaters allow you to extend the range of the incoming supply type by taking that type as an input and splitting it along 1 or more output lines. So now my line that I built for my headquarters is now going with this alloy repeater. And then this alloy repeater has the ability to build these alloy supply lines. I'm just going to end my turn. I'm going to let things maybe fall by the wayside over here. So now my alloy repeater, because it's connected, took in some storage, took in some alloys from my headquarters. And now if I wanted to, I could build a supply line here and could, I guess no one builds alloys, but I could connect it to, like, I guess let's just do a little example. Maybe I had a refinery there. And if I click this here, I can see I can connect it. But also, repeaters can repeat. So I can also go to my own repeater range here and maybe extend this like up here. Maybe I want to self-destruct this guy. And so now I have access to alloys much closer to my front line. So if I want to start trying to actually build out my rickshaws or something where they don't have to be connected all the way to the back of my base here, I can start building another base this way. So I can start actually building stuff further out. So this is what allows you to start expanding your base across the map instead of just building buildings wherever. So if I want to make, like, I don't know, maybe I want to have like a garage here so I can start trying to build.
Careful though, because if you build it too close and there's those cherubims, they will see the garage and they will attack it.
Yes. So again, buildings are not special. Buildings are just normal. Our word is interactable.
They're units.
So I don't want to say that. They're buildings, but they can be attacked like anything else. So even if I start putting storage in here, like let's just do a little test. Oh, I need more alloys. If I start putting storage in there and someone else attacks it and builds it, then
Uh-oh.
I think the AI just froze.
No. This should happen.
Oh no. Well, there's a demo. But anyways, so if I started building this alloy repeater and attaching it to the garage over here, then what I could start doing is like start building the rickshaw at that specific unit. So effectively, you don't have to just build your base sort of in sort of an RTS style all in one place. You can actually start expanding it sort of across the map to build your base in other places. So
not only can you, but given the size of the maps, you are encouraged to.
Yeah, because you're going to end up spending way
infrastructure.
more actions in AP to try to do it. So if you're playing Chapter 1 and you're finding that like you're like losing all your supply at a certain point or something, and you're like not making it far enough across the map, it's probably likely that you're building all your stuff way too far away, and you actually want to start using repeaters to start building things further away, so you can have stuff closer to your front lines. So, yeah. So I do want to wrap up our stream here, and I want to answer if there's any other questions from people. Again, demo is live now on Steam, so you can download it and play it. I'm gonna just go ahead and go back to my main menu here. So you can download and play it. You can tell us what you want. Join our Discord. We have a forum. We have a feedback form. All that stuff. Like, feel free to come by and say hello. I should have sent a screenshot wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're around. We're on Discord. I think we're gonna try to do another stream either later this week. I guess today's Wednesday. We'll probably do a stream maybe Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We're not sure. I will announce it on the Discord as probably well as the Twitter and the forums. There is still more Cantata news to come tomorrow that is very exciting. So 8/26/21 is still happening. If you Google around, you might be able to figure out what it is, but I will not say more than that. So yeah, I don't know unless anyone has.
Yeah, King Rat.
King Rat. Yes, definitely stream a playthrough. We totally want people to play it. We would love to see. We'll stop by your stream. We're sort of monitoring people as we're going to be monitoring stuff all throughout Gamescom to see if people are playing it. We'll stop by your stream if we're around. Yeah, if you're
and tag us on Twitter or wherever you want to tag us. Yeah, we'll stop by.
Even if you want to promote your stream in the Discord once it's live so other people can watch, that's totally encouraged. We're sort of, the community is just starting to find its legs. We're starting to come out much more to show everybody what's going on. So definitely encourage King Rat. Thank you. Oh, Jillian, thank you as well for stopping by. Thank you all. Yeah. Are there any other questions on YouTube or Steam before we wrap it up? I don't know if I saw anything.
No, I don't think so.
Nope, no one's got anything? Cool. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We're going to end the stream here. Again, we'll be on the Discord. We'll be on Twitter. We'll be on our forums. Hit us up wherever. Send feedback. Push this us on Steam. And thank you all for watching. This is so exciting to finally be able to share this to all. So thank you all for a great time, and we'll talk to you later.
Lead the reign to prosper.